good morning or good evening, Azrianok. It's very late, so I'm having to whisper, so I apologise if you have to turn the volume up a bit. This response is a couple of days overdue because I've already recorded about 4 video responses, and every time I watch them back I simply feel stupid. I had an argument once with a philosopher who was qualified in the philosophy of science, and I couldn't win. Philosophers are so well armed with sophistry. Often they're using the sophistry with the best intentions in the world to peer through the fog of language and of perception, that no one actually debating with them ever actually wins. I like winning. I'm not going to win with you. Just as I'm not going to win with a theist, whatever. So the only thing I can really... you made a lot of points, and I can't argue with those points. Philosophically, I'm sure they're as solid as concrete. But the one thing that I would remark upon, the one thing that may define the difference between our approaches to reality, is the subject of objectivity. Now, you mention objectivity a lot, and I'm not quite sure of your standpoint upon whether objectivity can be achieved. I'm sure that the attempt to reach an objective viewpoint will be slightly more objective than somebody who doesn't try to look that deeply. But ultimately, by having a number of... what's the word you used? Truths. By having a quantity of truths, I don't know, that's like trying to shoot someone with a shotgun rather than with a bullet. Some of them may hit, some of them may not. And personally, I believe a bullseye is impossible. Back to objectivity. My standpoint is that objectivity cannot be achieved. It is impossible to me. Now, I don't know whether I'm speaking for other people who are into science or not, but from my standpoint, I gave up on achieving true objectivity a long time ago. Of all the perspectives that we can achieve, because we are, have been, and will only ever be human, all we can achieve is a human objective. The brain can only think in certain ways. I cannot imagine a colour that I have never seen. If I did see this colour, my only attempt to describe it to you would involve the use of colours, which you've already seen. The mind can only understand truly new phenomena in light of phenomenon they've already experienced. I disagree that science can't break away from dogma because of quantum mechanics. It was a major ground shift. It took a while to get a new vocabulary to deal with it, and that new vocabulary is only an approximation. If you like, it's the human approximation of what quantum mechanics is. Same with superstring. It does sound like metaphysics because the physics has not yet been incorporated into that theory, whether or not it ever will. So you speak a lot of truth, but as someone who's into science, I know I'll never achieve objectivity. True objectivity means standing outside of the system. And to a scientist, anyone and anything is part of the system. It cannot stand outside and achieve objectivity. So in that sense, to me, I don't believe objective truth can possibly exist. For every entity that asks the question, there will be that individual's reality, whether we're talking about grasshoppers or humans. So I suppose that's as far as I get with philosophy. I know that there's some great insights. I know that there have been some wonderful moments, some truly astounding threads of thought which have changed the world, which have come from the school of philosophy. But when they try and use words or symbols which represent words in a formula or an equation, although there may be some insights gained like that, to me, numbers are the very definition of precision. So an equation that involves numbers and numerical values will always have an inherent degree of precision which philosophical formulas will never have. So I suppose the difference between us is I have chosen something which is like a soup. I just collect different ingredients and put them in the soup and let them simmer over time. I don't examine each individual item that I'm to put into the soup from all angles. I simply let it sit in my mind and see what feels rational after a little period of simmering. "7 minutes of total bullshit." Metaphysics. To me, any metaphysical statement has to involve some reference to physics. If it doesn't involve some reference to physics, which may or may not be testable, then it belongs firmly in the realm of philosophy, which, if I were to try and play on that ballpark, I would never succeed, ever, in 1,000 swings of making contact with one of your fastballs.